morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from across the country and around the world. This is the Life Midwest Podcast, a social sciences podcast that frequently interviews friends, and today is no different. Got my good buddy from high school here, Jimmy. See, he's raring and ready to go. Jimmy, how are you, man?
Man, I am, like I said, nervous as hell. But let's get this going, and a good quack quack mother duckers to you all.
I wanna give you props too, Jimmy, because I think you are probably the first person to admit on the air that you're nervous. Most people are like, they're like in the green room, or they're like, I'm just so nervous. But you're just out here with it. You're just airing it out.
I am an open book right now.
Good, because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Is the book of Jimmy, the book of you.
The book of mysterious fuck ups.
So, being that this show is called The Life Midwest, typically, we talk a lot about, Midwestern perspectives, pop versus soda, all that kind of bullshit. So, I guess what I want to start by asking is, I already know the answer to the question, but is it pop or is it soda?
Ooh, so, since high school, I've lived in various places, so I've kind of leaned towards soda.
I actually expected you to say pop. That's why I said I already know this. But hey, you know what? Maybe that's why I asked. You have lived in a couple of different places. You were born and raised in the Midwest, though, correct?
Correct. Good old Toledo, Ohio, 419. Hell yeah.
And where else? And where else have you lived?
I've lived in Savannah, Georgia, for a little bit. I lived in good old Las Vegas, Nevada. That was a good old time.
702.
Hell yeah. But then after Vegas, I moved back to Toledo.
Well, I can't wait to get into all of those different parts of the life and kind of what brought you there, what brought you back. There is this funny thing about Ohio where they always talk about how you can't ever seem to leave. Do you feel like that's true, or is there like other reasons?
I feel like it's just different here compared to other places. Like, people here are just more friendly, in my opinion. So that always, kind of drew me back to being in Toledo.
Interesting. I mean, I don't agree at all, but that's a
Hey man, different experiences, I guess.
Yeah. No, maybe it's me that's the asshole. That's probably what a lot of people would say anyway. So that's all right.
Or maybe it's Maybelline.
Find out on the other side of the break. No, just kidding. So usually what we do is when we start off these episodes is we talk about kind of like our first memory and kind of go from there. Through like childhood, or how some people really kind of skim over it. Some people will really get into the meat and potatoes of their childhood because they feel like it's been the root of like who they are. You're welcome to go either way with it, but I would curious. I'd like to know what your first memory is.
So my first memory, I was 4 years old, and I just remember like gaining, the like realization of, oh, I'm a person, and I'm waking up in the trailer park, and I am like, what the fuck is this shit? And I just remember going up to my mom like, who am I? So yeah, that was my first memory, and I hold that dear because I just, today thinking back on it, it's just hilarious. A little 4-year-old going, who am I?
You like that David After Dennis kid? Like, I have 2 hands.
Yes. What am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Waking up in a trailer park, man, and getting to eat some trailer park pizza. Them's the memories.
What is trailer park pizza? Is that different from normal pizza?
Oh yeah. So growing up in a trailer park, depending, if you were the wealthier family or not, we were definitely not. I grew up poor as shit. Trailer park pizza is a piece of white bread. Splatter some ketchup on that. If you want pepperoni, if you have pepperoni, throw some pepperoni on that, and cover it with your cheese and set it out in the sun for that cheese to melt.
I literally have never heard of this.
Yeah, that's some trailer park pizza right there.
So I want to get some feedback from the rest of the audience real quick. If you're hearing this, reach out to us, social media, send us an email if you've heard of this trailer park pizza. And I, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna do this. I want to get a picture. I need a picture of this. There's actually a recipe if you look online.
Oh, is there
in
really?
the Google
That's hilarious.
suggestion. Yeah. Some of these actually look really damn good. A lot of them, it almost looks like they took like a lasagna style kind of thing. And
Oh yeah, you can definitely spice it up, but we were not as fortunate.
that is hella interesting. But yeah, if you're out there listening and you've heard of this, let me know, because that's just that to me that's like the eighth wonder of the world. I'm not familiar with that. So take me from there though. You were in this trailer park for how long?
So lived there from the time I was born until about 7 years old. While we lived there, I went to All Saints Catholic School. Got kicked out from Catholic school for I said some mean things to the principal that she didn't like, that were definitely east side words. So once I got kicked out of there, we moved into an apartment in Rossford on Bruns, and then I started going to Indian Hills, the good old upside down Reese's cups.
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with the local area here, the school building is literally look like a pile of there's a neatly stacked pile of upside down Reese's cups.
That's how everybody always remembered that school.
Yeah,
which isn't even a school anymore. Kind of sad.
Yeah, they turned it into something else, I think.
I think it's the Board of Education where they set up shop.
As a Catholic, you getting kicked out of Catholic school is pretty funny.
Yeah, that was I mean, that's a 7-year-old saying some very heinous things, which obviously my language still today is no different.
You mean English, right?
Yeah, American.
Yeah, American. Okay, gotcha. So talk to me about Rossford. Talk to me about life once you moved over into Rossford and going to Indian Hills as a kid. Do you have any fond memories or any solidifying moments in your childhood during that time?
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of memories at Indian Hills. I started playing football when I moved there, and obviously nobody really knew me at Indian Hills because I came from the Catholic school. Most of the Catholic kids that go to that school stay there till 8th grade. So I came into Indian Hills not knowing anybody, started football right off rip. So I was, no friends. Everybody, it's like, who's this new guy? So football practices were always real fun because, nobody wanted to help good old Jimmy. But, once everybody kind of got to know me, I started making a decent amount of friends. I think my best memory, though, would be the first day at Indian Hills. The class I was in, the teacher had, each person say good morning to the next person. So there was a girl named Julie who would have to say good morning to me. And the first morning, she said, "Good morning, Jimmy Fuggett." So I, hearing that, like, it just cracks me up because, like, nobody since then has ever pronounced my last name like that. I've never heard Fuggett other than that moment in time. So
shout out to Julie.
Yeah, thank you, Julie, for giving me that fond memory, because I will never forget that. I've gotten a lot of weird pronunciations of my last name. Like when I went to basic training, all the drill sergeants there just kept calling me Fugatti. And I'm like, how in the hell does that look like that is pronounced Fugatti? There's no I. It's not an Italian name. Like for AIT, my the kid that was staying in the room across from ours, every morning we'd come out for inspection and he'd be like, "I woke up in a new Fugatti." Every morning for 8.5 weeks.
Yeah, I'd be ready to punch him after like 3 days. I'd be like, all right.
I did.
That's one of those things where it's like it's funny after a couple of times, and then you egg them on so they keep doing it, but you really didn't want them to keep doing it.
All right. Yeah, it became a long-lasting thing that I wish never happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So you played a lot of football growing up. Was that the basis of your friends group, or what kind of, was there a certain certain group that you hung with or stuck with, throughout elementary school and junior high, or did it was it like an everybody thing, or just the other guys on the team?
Playing football for at least Little League, I was definitely hanging out with the sports kids because my dad was helping coach Little League with me, so his friends became the other coaches, and their kids became my friends who were also playing football, and so I stayed with that friend group all the way up until probably junior high, when I started to not really care for playing anymore. And in sixth grade, I had met Kevin McAleer. He was my cabin leader for what did they call that?
Camp store.
Yes, Camp Store. Yeah. So he was my cabin leader. He actually taught me how to play Seven Nation Army on the G string, fingering A minor. But no, he taught me, a few of the one string songs to kind of get me started, and that kicked off me wanting to learn how to play guitar, and ultimately led to me not really caring for football anymore. I started to get more into, the artsy stuff. I picked up guitar. I picked up artwork. I did a lot of painting and freehand drawing. So, junior high I was still kind of friends with all the sports kids, but I pulled myself away from that and ended up meeting Brian, Kevin's youngest brother. And then we became really good friends. So my clique definitely changed once I hit junior high.
I was going to say, and I don't want to jump ahead here, but I was going to say you were very much an art and very much a music person when we met, and first became, friends and connected over that a lot. Specifically, just the first band that comes to mind is Avenged Sevenfold, and
oh hell yes.
I don't want to skip too far ahead because I might have some stories to insert here, but man, I actually completely forgot that's how you met. Kevin he was a cabin leader at Camp Store. For those who don't know, can you kind of give us a rundown of what Camp Store is? Like that sixth grade field trip.
Oh yeah, Camp Store is a beautiful thing, especially if you like outdoor stuff. It's they take the sixth graders, ship them off for a week, and we stay in a cabin. You do a bunch of fun little activities. So like you get to go out in the middle of the night. They give you those icebreaker mint things. You're sitting there chomping on them, seeing the sparks in your mouth. Which, every little kid at that age is like, oh my God, how does that even happen?
I remember that. That was so cool.
So, and then, you go to the little, like, I don't know what they call it, but it's like a dome where they have like all the stars lit up and you can see all the constellations. Other activities, like there's a night where you get to put skits together and act out some skits in front of everybody. That
was a lot of fun, and the reason I want to jump in here is because I remember during that night when I went, we all had these disposable cameras. Do you remember when you would hit a disposable camera really hard and it would flash
right in your face?
So they would always say lights, camera, action, and so we would always like smack the disposable camera when everyone said lights or everyone said camera. And at first the teachers got pissed, but then so many of us were doing it that they just let us keep doing it.
Oh yeah, good times with that. My favorite memory of Camp Store was we were in that reptile house where they had like all the snakes and lizards and stuff for you to play with. I guess I shouldn't say play with, but observe. I was holding one of the ball pythons, and I was sitting there flicking my tongue out at it. And this thing straight up got real close to me, and his tongue ended up hitting my tongue, and that's how I French kissed a snake. And there was like 3 people watching, and one of these people still to this day will mention that to me on Facebook every now and then, a messenger like, "Hey, you remember when you kissed that snake?"
So you have witnesses to that happening.
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. So take me through through that transition. Like that's a very, I don't want to say it's like a polar opposite thing, but like you go from just, those end up being two very opposite types of people and two very opposite types of kids that go into high school. Um, was there, did you feel like you were encouraged to play football and then you discovered it wasn't really like a passion, or you just discovered that, music and art was just a bigger passion, or like how did that transition play out for you?
Anger would definitely be that transition. Um, Upbringing wasn't, necessarily the best. Parents, had their problems, and I won't get too much into that just because I don't want to blast either side. But I was a very, very angry child, and at first, football was my outlet because I could hit somebody as hard as I wanted to and not get in trouble. So that was the outlet for me. But then, as I got older, it was like I don't want to keep hurting people, and then music and art was that outlet for me where I could express myself without hurting anyone.
I remember guitar was always kind of a thing for you. You ended up playing bass guitar and marching band in high school. Talk to me about high school then. So was junior, was junior high kind of the transition then of like football to music, and then high school was like the music and art?
Yeah.
Would you say?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, for sure. Because seventh grade I was still in football, but I didn't really care for it. I would obviously go to practice and play the game, but my heart wasn't in it. So eighth grade year was more of me figuring out, kind of who I am, what I like, and what I want to pursue. And eighth grade year for my birthday is when I actually got my very own first guitar. So that really helped that transition into, okay, this is now me.
Do you feel like you had friends or even your parents like question that kind of change of passion, or I don't want to say identity, but I think a lot of us at that age assume it as our identity.
I don't remember anybody ever really questioning me. I know my dad wasn't very happy that I stopped playing football, but um, I mean, you can't really get too mad at a kid for not wanting to do something they don't like anymore. But I'd say he's probably the only one that really had anything to say about it. Everyone else, I still, remain somewhat friends with all the sportsy people, and that clique of people. I still talk to them, was still, cordial, and didn't have any problems with them. Nobody had problems with me. So yeah, I don't think anybody really questioned it.
So you'd say it was more of like a mutual respect of like, hey, this was fun, but I'm going to go do this now. And like those people that you spent all that time with were like, they were cool with you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Nice. Awesome. Give me 1 second. I got to call Ashley back because she called.
Sounds good.
Be right back. Oh my God, I am so sorry.
No, you're good, man. Hey, when the woman calls, you answer.
Or at least call her back. Otherwise, you got to face the fear of God.
Whoo, buddy.
Yeah. All right. So where were we here? Oh baby, the nerves are still there, but this is fucking great. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Hopefully they're going away at least a little bit for you, but
Yeah. This tasty beverage here is finally taking effect.
and what's the taste? What is the beverage of choice?
Oh man, I don't know if we need to announce that because now people are gonna know I'm trash. I'm drinking some Natty Light right now.
I won't put that in there if you don't want me to.
No, I don't care either way, man.
So
they can know I'm straight up Midwest. Like, come on now.
come on now. All right. So talk to me a little bit about high school. We've kind of made that transitional phase from like sports to music and art. Friend group might have changed a little bit, or at least evolved. We met, right? We met.
Oh, yeah.
We were in
My freshman year
varsity band. You were actually.
I came in there like I don't know how to play any of these instruments.
I remember you I think you were like weirded out by me at first. Would you say that?
Fuck yeah. Oh fuck yeah. You were a level of comfort in expressing yourself that I had not attained yet. I was still very much in my shell, didn't know how to express myself. And so seeing Kevin just straight up like, I am who I am, fucking take it or leave it, was very intimidating for somebody who didn't know how to express themselves quite yet.
And it's funny looking back on it because I really think I only thought I knew who I was. Thinking back to like junior and high school Kevin, but yeah, I know I was definitely a little. I was out there. I was definitely. I definitely.
But in a good way. In a good way. I might have to add, just so anybody that's listening don't think he was some weirdo.
I think looking back on it and just kind of what I've learned about myself over the last couple of years, it's very much become I didn't have that social compass of like caring how other people reacted. I think I was kind of ignorant to it, and I think that enabled me to kind of be the person I was when we met. But we definitely meshed well together, I would say.
You actually taught me kind of how to express myself in a way. I like you put me in a comfort level of who gives a fuck what other people think.
I wasn't always the best at following my own advice, but yeah, I'm glad I did that for you at least a little bit. That's I mean, I think you did that for me too in a way, because I think once you're the type where like, yeah, you had like that shell, but like,
once you get me out of it,
once you get Jimmy out of it,
you want to put Jimmy back in that shell.
no. More so just, I think it was inspiring to just kind of be like, man, this, it was more of like a, man, why aren't you like that like all the time? And then eventually you became like that all the time, but
right.
Once you came out of your shell. But no, that was really, really cool. And yeah, definitely some good memories in marching band.
Our New York trip. Oh, I will never forget that trip. That was a good trip.
Yeah, we took a trip to New York in 2009 for the spring trip. And man, did you go? I know I went and saw Phantom of the Opera. We had a night where we all went to like different places. Did you go with me? Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right.
I think, who was I sitting next to? I know you were to my right. I can't remember who was to my left, because I was making fun of them the whole time because they were like shitting on the opera. And I was like, you know what? You're just an unartsy. You're uneducated. You're not cultural. Just shut up.
It's like that Dane Cook bit of like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
This is fucking great. You shut up.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's awesome. I still have that poster, by the way. I bought the poster that like they all sign and whatever. I have it like framed and everything.
Yes, that's awesome.
I'm staring at it right now, actually, in my office. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't know whatever happened to mine. I probably lost in transition from here to Vegas, back to here, back to Vegas, back to here.
Oh, you can always come over and just stare at mine if you want.
I might have to take a picture.
Okay. So talk to me more about high school, other experiences, other bits and pieces before we move on to post high school and 20s and all that. I know you had a couple of serious relationships during that time.
Buddy.
I feel like just high school is just a very pivotal moment for most people where they really start to discover like self-identity. And just talk to me a little bit about that.
I think high school was where I realized, my dad was right. The Fugates, like the men, were just generally whores. So like you said, I had a couple serious relationships, and the one serious one actually started in 8th grade and continued on through high school, but in bits and pieces. That was pretty much my first everything was with that person, and it taught me that I just really did not belong in a relationship in high school, because I was not at all ready. But the other serious relationship came afterwards, after I don't want to say grew up, but at least advanced a little, and I was very faithful and did not, mess around during the relationship. And I know girls listening right now are like, typical guy. Yeah, we go through it. We learn. We know that we mess up, and all the ladies out there I've ever hurt, I am sincerely sorry. You dealt with a very young and dumb Jimmy, but yeah, high school definitely taught me a lot about myself in the sense of who I wanted to be and who I definitely should not become. Also, just want to throw this in there. Whoever the hell said high school was the best years of your life lied. Because after high school, I've had way better years. But high school is definitely detrimental to you growing as a person.
I would definitely agree that I feel like the best years of my life were more so post high school, and it's not because high school was terrible in any way. It's just that was just kind of my experience too. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying high school was like terrible. I'm just saying like the years after, like they treated me better and more shaped me into who I am now.
So talk to me about becoming the person that you want to be, or that you wanted to be. Mention that phrase. What does that look like?
So as the great Matthew McConaughey said in a speech, chase after that person that's 5 years from now. Who do you want to be 5-10 years from now? Go after that person. And then when you get to there, who do you want to be 5-10 years from now, and keep chasing? So I'm continually learning who I want to be, and I'm always chasing that better me. I'm never going to get that better me. That's, the perfect form of me, but I always strive to become that better me.
So essentially, you the vision of who you want to be is Matthew McConaughey.
Well, I like to wear deodorant, so I don't know about that. But no, I just I think chasing somebody that you see yourself as and continually changing who that is for the better keeps you on a path of betterment indefinitely.
Coming up on the other side of the break, we're going to talk more about chasing what you're after. And for Jimmy, that landed him in a couple of other places in the country. So we're going to go there next. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Life Midwest podcast, the show about a place on Earth. And hey, if we sound different, it's because we've been running into some technical difficulties with our recording software today. So we had to go with our plan B. And so if either of us sound... Now you know why. Just want to address the elephant in the room. Hey, if you're looking for ways to support us, we do have a PayPal that's set up. It does cost money to run the show. If you'd like to donate us a cup of coffee or anything like that, since sometimes I stay way too late working on this show. PayPal.me/TheLifeMidwest. You can also email us at support@thelifemidwest.com with whatever you're feeling. Feedback, suggestions, comments, thoughts, questions, concerns. I don't know what I can do about the last one, but, we'll see what we can do. You can also reach out to us and support us for free by leaving us a review on iTunes or any of your favorite listening platforms. And, of course, as always, all major social platforms as well at The Life Midwest. We got Jimmy with us here today, special guest on the My Friends series. And how's it hanging, man? How you holding out?
Oh, well, I had to mute myself real quick because that little bit about don't know what to do about the concerns just made me have a little outburst of laughter. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, you're allowed to laugh.
Oh, I wasn't trying to laugh over top of you giving your spiel.
You're allowed to laugh. I try to be funny, so it makes me feel like I'm talking to a wall a little bit less when I do this, so I appreciate it. So having a good time so far, though, bud?
Oh, the nerves are finally gone. I think that is the natty light helping.
Natty Light is the cure-all to social anxiety, I guess.
Or Busch Light, you know, depending on what part of the Midwest you're from.
Really, that matters. It's like dictated.
You know, yes, I feel like it is. I feel like farm life is more Natty Light, and you know, it's cheaper. You still get a 30 pack, but it's a little cheaper. And then Busch Lights for the I was corn fed, but I don't farm people.
So Busch is like premium Midwest then.
Yes. Oh yes.
Okay. Gotcha. I want to pick up as far as, you know, kind of that post high school life and that time in our lives where we really start to kind of learn a lot about ourselves and who we are. And I think we do some of that in high school, but I think a lot of it happens in our late teens and early 20s. Do you have any experiences that you want to share or talk about from post high school?
Oh, definitely. I mean, right after high school, that August after graduation is the first time I moved to Vegas. Actually, chasing you. Got out there and had some real life experiences. You know, not having my support group from here. You know, everybody you leave behind was fresh out of high school, didn't have any type of training or schooling after high school, so getting a job out there was pretty difficult. Like, unless, you know, you're wanting to just work the gas station and go from there, which at the time, you know, me being young and dumb, I was like, no, I'm worth way more. Which honestly was not the case. Again, I didn't have any education there. I was just some high school asshole. But yeah, that experience, the first round, definitely taught me, you're not worth shit. Go get better. So that was why I left. I came back home to go to school and, you know, become a, you know, a plus in society, not a negative. And when I came home, I went to Owens, got my welding certificates, and ended up starting a business with somebody we went to high school with, making flatbed trailers, utility trailers, stuff you can, you know, cart around like your lawn equipment or cars, you know, just multi-use trailers. And that time of my life was really fun. I was getting to do something where we didn't have blueprints. It was, we're figuring this out together. So I got to use my creativeness and kind of come up with designs and research, you know, how to actually build a trailer. It was a great learning experience in my life, getting to be kind of free range of how to do things.
That's awesome. Are you still doing that, by the way, or no?
No, I don't weld for work. Like, doing that and then trying to go get a job welding where you're looking at a blueprint and doing the same thing day in and day out. Having the experience I did before that kind of ruined that routine, because I wasn't at that point getting to use my creative ability. So it kind of killed it for me. So now I just kind of weld on the side as an outlet, so to speak.
So there was definitely, it sounds like there was definitely an art aspect to it, where you could bring your own imagination to it, and that was really the beauty of welding for you.
Oh, for sure. Yes. Actually doing it for a living is not the route I'm going. So after that business eventually failed, I decided, okay, let's give Vegas another shot. And I moved back, and that's where I learned, okay, welding for a living that is not my own thing is not the route I want. I ended up working for a place where it was, they did all the stuff for like Wynn Casino. And sure, there was the creative aspect of it, but it was mostly just blueprint working of, we've already made this, we know how to make it again. So it just wasn't catching my attention. And I actually ended up getting fired for getting in a bit of a tussle with one of the coworkers, because I want to keep that in mind, gently set down a Metabo on his toolbox to pick something else up. I forget what I was grabbing, but I needed my hand free. And, I understood where he was coming from because, those toolboxes are expensive. You don't want them looking like shit, but it's not like I threw the damn thing at his toolbox, but he had a problem with it. I told him to go fuck himself. And we both ended up getting fired. Um, but after that, I then started, diving back into that whole, all right, we need to better ourselves. Who are we going to be 5 years from now? And after doing that digging, I decided I wanted to join this beautiful nation's armed forces. So I went ahead and joined the National Guard through Nevada, which was such an experience. Basic training was very eye opening for who I was. It taught me that no matter what I am going through, I can get to the other side of it. Once I got home from all my training, decided, man, I really kind of miss my family. So after spending a year in the Nevada Guard, I transferred back to Ohio, got to move back home with my family and still get to do the military thing while being around my loved ones and my family and my friends. So it definitely became better for me in terms of having my support group back while still doing the things I was enjoying.
And that can be huge because I mean, and I can only imagine what it would be like is if you weren't enjoying what you were doing and you didn't have that support group.
Yeah, it sucks. It definitely sucks when you're, doing something you don't enjoy and nobody's around for you to really like, vent to or just be around that you're comfortable with. Like, say, your parents, like, oh, go to my dad or my mom and bitch about something. They give me some insight on, life of like, you can do this. It'll get better. You just got to buckle down and do this, that, the other. But I'm 2,000 miles away from that support group, so moving back was definitely the best decision for me at the time.
And sometimes all it takes is having somebody much older than you going and saying you're doing everything right.
Right. Yeah, that definitely always helps.
Yeah, for sure. So you come back to Ohio a second time, transfer in the National Guard. You still in the National Guard?
Yes, I actually get out in January. I'm definitely ready for that chapter of my life to close. It's been definitely the biggest learning experience of my life and shaping who I am. Just with I don't want to dive into politics or anything, but just with everything going on in the world, I feel it's best for me to step back from military.
I respect that. And I think no matter what, no matter which way you lean on issues and things like that, if is sometimes stepping back can be the most healthy thing for you. And I think that's definitely something that early last year was something that I needed to do myself personally. So I definitely empathize with that standpoint for sure. What else?
So I actually have a child now.
What?
Oh, did you not know?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna be a year old in October 18th.
Oh,
So I have been blessed with the best thing I've ever done in my life. I mean, I've I've done all kinds of things in my short time on this planet, and he is definitely the best thing I ever did.
oh. I'm gonna put some like heartfelt music right here, like some violins and shit. Like the la la la.
Being a father is it's a beautiful thing. It sucks at times. Don't get me wrong. It's not all fucking rainbows and unicorns. There's definitely times where I'm like, I'm gonna yeet you out the fucking window. But all in all, it's a blessing.
That's awesome. That is too awesome, man. So we got a child. Got getting out of the National Guard in January. What's next for you?
Next is buckling down and finding a job because this guy is not doing so well in the streaming aspect of life. Tried to, make that my my income, and I wouldn't say I failed, but I definitely need to revisit it later when I have stable income. So
talk to me a little bit more about that. Like what made you want to start doing that? What gave you the idea? What was that process like? Walk me through that.
well, when COVID started and everybody's kind of indoors, not really able to go do anything with that lockdown, uh, that's when I originally had the thought of like, okay, well, I see other people doing pretty well with this. How about we try this out? So I ended up getting a PC and started diving into that world, which was a learning experience because I've always been a console guy, and there's so much more going on with PC. Like the customization of that, like learning everything was just, that's when I started realizing, ooh, man, we bit off a little much. Let's let's try to chew this down. But getting into the actual streaming, I've really learned a lot in terms of, okay, this is not just you play a game and people like it. This is, you have to build some quality content and keep the viewers there. They're not just gonna stay there because you're a nice guy.
In a way, it almost seems like you have to be entertaining.
Oh, for sure. Which at times is hard coming up with something to hook people.
For sure. And I mean, I can't even imagine it, like, let's say you had like a bad day and like let's say you have like a streaming schedule, right? Where you're like, okay, I'm going to do Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at this time. Like, let's say Thursday rolls around and it's 6:00 and you're just empty from the day. I mean, that's got to be a challenge.
Oh yeah, especially having a child too. That definitely takes a toll on both you and Mama Bear. Because you're trying to stay true to that schedule, and something may come up with the kid that you're just like, man, I need to go stream, but I can't step away from what's going on right now. So it gets a little difficult trying to manage your schedule in the sense of there's other shit going on.
Yeah. Not that having a child isn't an obstacle in any way, but any other obstacles or mountains overclimbed or overcame recently or over the last few years in the 20s?
Obstacles would definitely be been having, the last few years I've been having trouble battling with mental health issues and figuring out how to go about that. Had a bit of a point of, I don't want to say weakness, but a down point recently, and we're still getting on the other side of that tunnel, but we're out of the dark and we've got a long road ahead of us, but I'm chugging along.
That's good to hear. It's good to hear, because I think a lot of people don't make it. They don't make it to the other side of the tunnel, and they don't make it to the point where it's like, there is life after what you're experiencing and what you're going through. And honestly, I think that would make for a great episode on its own. You want to come back next week and talk more about that?
I honestly would love to do that, because I've been really wanting to be an advocate for mental health awareness.
Okay. Well, we're really big on that on the show here too. So I think we can make a really great episode out of that. And I would love to kind of pick your brain and see, what it's, kind of take the experiences of one person and kind of, not necessarily compare them, but just kind of see how different it can be from person to person. So no, that'd be awesome. I'd really look forward to that. And you got to deal with my ass for another episode. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh, I would enjoy it thoroughly.
So, hey, man, before we start wrapping up, as you may or may not know, we give everyone an opportunity to give shout outs towards the end of the episode. And I'm just curious if there's anybody who you would want to shout out, whether it's a short or long list.
It's a little shorter list, but I've got a few streaming buddies of mine that I'd like to give a shout out for. They're really good quality content for their streams. So shout out to Hulkman Zod. He does a lot of Minecraft streaming. Really good guy, very nice. It's a very chill setting. Grubhub, that's Grub_hub. He plays League of Legends. He does the other little game on League. I can't remember. I think it's TFT, Teamfight Tactics. That's what it is. So he's really good at both games, and he's pretty good at like teaching as he's playing, as you know, just to kind of give you information on like what characters to play. But yeah, those two are definitely great streamers to check out. And then, I mean, I guess I would love to give a shout out to myself. I'm gonna get back into the streaming, so shout out to myself, Big Tuna 007. So yeah, come check us out.
I love that you've really rolled with the Big Tuna thing. That's always been a very favorite hallmark of mine, and I look forward to seeing your content and doing what you do out there. What kind of, just so the audience knows, what kind of stuff do you do as far as games?
So originally I was doing a kind of a broad spectrum of things, but realized I am not that guy that's going to be the shooter game guy, because I'm just not that good anymore. Back in Halo days, sure, but nowadays I'm doing a lot of VR and horror games, because who doesn't enjoy watching a grown white man scream like a little girl?
And me knowing you as well as I do, that's actually what in the back of my mind, I was like, man, it would be so much fucking fun to watch this kid play like Resident Evil, like the new one, 8 Village or whatever.
Terrifying. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've screamed playing that game. I still haven't beat it.
Do you play that on PC, or do you have a console that you like port to your PC when you stream?
No, I am straight up PC gaming now.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, did you manage to get a PS5 or not? But damn.
I don't even want it.
I like my internet router that sits underneath my TV.
Right, my fridge.
It's my fridge, except it keeps my tea hot.
Right.
Hey, I want to shout out Wes Shirley. He's going to be back in a few weeks here. First, want to shout out Jimmy for coming on the show. Appreciate you, buddy. And of course, check him out. Give that to us one more time. Big Tuna,
it's
right?
Big Tuna 007. Tuna is spelled a little different. It's TEWNA.
Awesome. And we'll provide that link in the podcast description as well for y'all to check out his Twitch channel. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to next week. Until then, folks, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Don't forget to call your mom. Right, Jimmy? Call your mom. Always call your mom.
Always call mama. You never not call mama.
Always call your mom. Have a good one, and we will both actually be here and talk to you next week and next Saturday here on the Life Midwest podcast. Take care.
Bye-bye.